marry well. There was no question of that. His work for the day done, Dane saw there was an hour's worth of oil left in the study lamps. Rather than call the servant to light his way to bed, Dane paused to consider the black satin cloak, lined with gold brocade, draped across a chair. It had just arrived that day, to his delight. Inwardly, he calculated its assembled cost. 2 sumptuous imported fabrics sewn together, the impeccable tailoring. The gold clasp he'd ordered on impulse. That would glitter at his throat under lamps. Yes, it was costly, but he was to attend the midsummer masque at the residence of the court poet himself. For that, you spared no expense. More valuable was the mask that Dane now lifted from the desk and set over his face, gazing at himself in the silver-backed mirror. That itself was worth a fortune. His eyes looked back at him from within a frame of black, patterned with gold leaf. Even the evening lamplight danced on that gold. An ornamental sword, the hilt and scabbard, perfectly matched, would complete the ensemble. He had commissioned the mask and sword from a master craftsman in Myer. They were just different enough from the traditional Ivarian style that he was certain to stand out. And Dane liked the idea of standing out. He had deliberately not asked his wife to attend the masque with him. That line of contemplation was a bit too stimulating at this time of night when he needed to sleep. He had an eye on more than one alluring prospect at court. Ladies weary of their arranged marriages and intrigued by a man who was experienced, by all accounts, in the dangers of seas that ran red with blood. As if divining Dane's thoughts, the singer outside had ended his song of the summertime, and now struck up a ribald ballad, its brisk rhythm drastically at odds with the hush of night. Dane couldn't make out the words. It was something about seduction. But then, most of them were. His informers at court were helpful in these matters, keeping Dane abreast of a prospect's level of interest, of opportunity. Frequently absent husbands, for example, could be a convenience. But that was a frivolous use of his contact services. More often, Dane benefited from them in other, more substantial ways. When the king was on the verge of betrothal to his Southland queen years ago, it was Dane who had caught wind of it weeks in advance, who had procured an emerald so fine, so prodigious in size, it was still discussed at court to this day. A gift from the king to his intended bride, set in gold as a pendant for her to wear. Such acts, tallied over years, could consolidate a man's power, extend his sphere of influence, even in a court as harshly glittering as that of the capital. Dane lowered his mask, felt the warm summer air on his face. An owl called at the window, softly. The song was moving into its last phase, and Dane hoped for his wife's sake that the poet was nearly done. Well, and for his own sake too. He would be heading to bed and hopefully sleep in just a moment. But first, as he stood at the window and observed the startling edge of the scythe moon, there were things to consider, or savor. Days ago, one of his informers had told him of something that was interesting, singularly interesting, an opportunity, in fact, not likely to arise again. Dane had sent a note to the palace, pressing his advantage. It was precisely through such shrewd stratagems, such